Hey everyone, Eric here with Proactive Intuition, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how my wife and I were able to pay off a large amount of debt very fast. I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 things that I did to pay off that debt. Alright guys, so if you're watching this video and you're looking to pay off your debt and you're kind of not really sure where to start, the principles that I'm going to be sharing with you in this video might not be what you'll find on a lot of other people's videos. I have a little bit of a different opinion about how I went about paying off my debt. That might not be the most popular if you're watching a lot of other videos of people with suggesting things like budgets and things like that. So I'll just jump right into it here and I'll share with you guys my 5 steps. The very first step is you have to have a game plan, right? So you have to know your numbers. How much debt do you have? For my wife and I, we had over $30,000 in debt. And for us at the time, we didn't make a lot of money, so that seemed like a very overwhelming amount of money to pay off. And it was kind of a crutch for us because we were at a point in our lives where we were newly married and we wanted to start a family sometime in the near future. And for me, it was really super scary because I always grew up with parents that didn't have a whole lot of money, and I remember what it was like in my childhood watching my parents fight over money and just seeing the effect that it had on me as a child that I don't want to pass that on to my child, right? So my very first thing is know that you have a plan that you can execute on. So how much debt do you have? How fast do you want to pay off this debt? How much of a priority do you really want to make it? For my wife and I, we wanted to attack debt very aggressively because I didn't want to have to worry about debt later on down the road when life happens, when there's an emergency, when the kid needs something for school, when whatever it is. I didn't want to have to worry about debt being a crutch for us because we're constantly throwing payments at debt that seems like it's never going away. So that's my first thing, is have a game plan. If you don't have a game plan, then follow these next steps that I'm about to teach you. Number 2 is pay yourself first. I cannot tell you how important this is. If there's any one piece of financial advice that I share with my friends, my family, with anyone that I meet, is to pay yourself first. And what that means is that you're taking a set amount of money aside every single month that you put into a separate sacred account that you do not touch no matter what. Meaning that before you pay your bills or anything, you have to set aside a certain amount of money every month. For me, in my life, I do 40% now. And it took me a long time to build up to that number, but 40% of whatever I make in income, I put into a separate account that I do not touch. And that seems really overwhelming, and I don't suggest starting there, but start with whatever you can. If you can put aside just 10% every month, then put aside 10%. If that seems like it's overwhelming, well, then you need to listen to the next steps, because you have to figure out a way how you can start getting ahead every single month. If you're paycheck to paycheck, I get it. It's super hard to pay yourself first and to set something aside, but it's the only way you can get ahead in your finances is when you start making more than what your bills and expenses are. So that's my biggest step. Whenever you pay yourself first, before you even start attacking debt, try to set aside $1,000 of an emergency fund so that if life happens, that you're not off course with paying off debt. So put $1,000 aside and pay yourself first. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is increase your income. So if you guys are in a position to where you're not ahead every month, meaning that your bills exceed your income, then you got to get out of that situation. You have to take action right now to get out of that, because you're just digging yourself a deeper hole at this point. So what I would recommend is, very first off, if you can work more hours at your job and get paid more, do whatever you can to do that. That's probably the best immediate thing that you can do. Secondly is develop a side hustle. One of the best ways that my wife and I paid off debt is I was developing a side hustle. I always buy and sold things on eBay, but I decided to get really serious about it and start really diving into hey, what products can I buy and resell that's going to make us the most money? And so what I did is I found the best products to resell on eBay. I found the best way to resell on eBay by using the least amount of time, and I developed that skill, and that actually paid off the majority of our debt, because I could take almost 100% of what I was making with my eBay earnings and throw it at debt. I kept a little bit of money in my eBay account. I always needed some capital to buy inventory to resell, but for the most part, anything over that set amount that I needed was all going to debt, no matter what. If you guys are interested in learning what I did to get out of debt buying and reselling on eBay, I'll have another video you guys can watch in the link below or in the description below, and you guys can watch that video and I'll walk you through kind of step by step on how I went about managing my finances with it, and what items I bought and resold to do that. So feel free to check that out if you'd like. The next thing I would say is, if you're looking to increase your income, is just get a second job. Like, if you're behind right now in your bills, if you're struggling to get ahead, then we have to take some actions that's going to make it so you start to get ahead at least a little bit, every single month. So I would highly suggest getting a second job that has flexible hours. So whether that's you're delivering pizzas, or you're driving for Postmates, or you're doing odd jobs on Craigslist, whatever you have to do to get out of debt, we have to take actions to do that. It's not fun getting out of debt. No one wants to be working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, but we have to take some different actions so that we get different results, right? So I would definitely suggest getting a second job as just a temporary solution to start to get ahead. Number 4 is not going to be the most popular advice. You probably will not see this in any other get out of debt videos, and that is to invest in yourself. Yes, that means you may have to spend money. You're like, Eric, I thought we were throwing everything at debt. We're throwing everything at debt, everything at our immediate bills, and we're investing in ourselves. That doesn't mean you have to be paying an arm and a leg to invest in yourself. But, Warren Buffett is one of the best investors in the world, and he says the best investment you can make is in yourself. And I am a firm believer in that. Every time I invest in myself, I get 10x the results out of what I put in. So, if you have to pay to go attend a seminar or sign up for a course or a training, or even if you just need to go buy something small like a book so you can further your education, and invest in something that's going to help you increase your skill set and provide more value in the marketplace. Because the goal is that we're looking to make more money, and to make more money, sometimes that means we need to develop some new skills, and then you need to apply those, and that way you can keep making more money. So don't be afraid to go attend a seminar or whatever you have to do to keep learning and growing. Another thing when it comes to paying off debt is you have to keep your mind right. And when you invest in yourself by listening to books or by reading books or whatever you're doing, it keeps your head sharp and it keeps you in the game, because I can promise you somewhere along the journey you're going to get really tired of this, like spending all your money just paying off debt. You're going to be like this at first because you're excited about it, and then you're going to tank. So it keeps it so our waves are more like this, instead of having these huge peaks and valleys of emotion, like what am I going to do when something happens. It helps keep your mindset in the right place. It helps keep you focused when you invest in yourself. So listen to some people that can help you keep your mind right, like Tony Robbins, or guys like that can kind of help you out with keeping your mental state healthy, right? So that's number 4, is invest in yourself. Number 5 is get your spouse, family, and friends on board. You need to let your inner circle know that, hey, guys, I'm going to be making some sacrifices this year, meaning I'm probably not going to be going out to the bar with you on Friday night. I'm probably not going to be going to the football games with you guys this year. You have to sacrifice to get ahead, just in the beginning, right? You have to understand this is just a temporary thing that we are doing. It doesn't last forever, but the feeling you get when you're finally out of debt is an amazing feeling that I can't even explain, right? So that's the big thing. Last tip, get your family on board. One final bonus tip, because I know I'll probably get some people saying, Eric, you said nothing about saving or budgeting. And so when it comes to budgeting, I do think you should do it. I just believe that the 5 things that I mentioned here are much more important than scrimping and saving and budgeting, right? So I will say that you do want to go through and evaluate all of your expenses. So, you need to look at your expenses like, do I need cable TV? That I could probably drop. Can I renegotiate my phone bill? That I can probably drop. Can I renegotiate my insurance for my car and my house? That I can probably change and get a lower rate. You want to look at things like that. What I wouldn't do is what I see so many people do in like the Dave Ramsey Facebook groups, which if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he's like the king of getting out of debt. He does actually have some really good advice. That's actually what my wife and I did to get out of debt, was we went through his baby steps. So we went through baby step 1, 2, and 3. He has 7 steps. After baby step 3, I have a different game plan going forward to help me reach my big goals, and I just don't really align with Dave after baby step 3. So, but I am in full agreement with him up to baby step 3. So anyway, in some of his Facebook groups, I saw a post that someone made where someone posted a bunch of ketchup packets that were all cut up in this ketchup bottle that they filled up halfway by emptying the ketchup packets into the ketchup bottle. And they were going on about, how important this was, that they scrimp and save in every single area in their life. And my head just wanted to explode because I couldn't stand reading that, because it's like you spent like probably an hour going to Burger King, stealing ketchup packets, cutting them all open, squeezing them into the ketchup jar, making a mess, and then, it probably took you an hour to do all those things when you could have taken that hour to read about a skill set, or you could have taken an hour working your side hustle, making $20, $30, $40, $50 for your hour instead of working on 50 cents worth of ketchup. So you kind of have to learn how to value your time, and I don't think it's worth it to put so much time and focus and energy into scrimping and saving on things like that. Now, like I said, with that being said, focus on those reoccurring payments. That makes a big difference. Don't beat yourself up because you went to Taco Bell twice this week and spent $10, right? When you could have been eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches. That's not the type of saving that I would spend my time looking into. But with that being said, budgeting is important, and Dave Ramsey does have a really good budgeting tool. You can go to everydollar.com and you can lay out your entire budget. And it's actually a really good website, so feel free to check that out too. With that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.